And that breaking news, President Trump has fired FBI Director James Comey.
This comes just days after Comey testified on Capitol Hill about the FBI's investigation into Russia's election meddling and possible connections between Russia and Trump's campaign. In a statement, the president said Comey's firing will mark a new beginning for the FBI.
The White House says the search for a new FBI director starts now.
Well, you can expect more coverage of this breaking news on World News Tonight with David Moore. That is right after 13 News Now at 6.
Dangerous discovery inside a locker in Virginia Beach.
A 13-year-old is accused of having explosive devices at Lansdowne Middle School. We broke this news of the student's arrest this afternoon on Twitter.
Reporter Stephen Graves started asking questions after a parent posted on Facebook about something happening at the school on Friday. He explains what led to the arrest.
School officials say the incident was reported on Thursday. The student was arrested on Friday. Parents today are more worried than ever. They didn't know the details until now, and one parent we meet even came and picked up her child from school. That parent didn't want to go on camera, but Colleen Dresden was quick to express her opinions.
Scared for my kids, scared for the other kids.
A 13-year-old student now faces felony charges.
That's so young.
Virginia Beach fire investigators say they found explosive devices in a student's locker at Lansdowne Middle.
I sound like my grandmother, that what's the world coming to?
The teen was put in juvenile detention. They now face charges of manufacturing and possessing chemical explosive devices. Officials believe the student didn't have any intent to harm anyone, but the effects are hitting their peers like Will Dresden.
A few are scared and a few are kind of just laughing it off like it's another thing.
Will says he, along with others, just want to know more. What do you want to know more about?
What happened? Like, is he gone? Are we sure that there's nothing else lying around in the school that could harm us?
And while all details aren't known at this time, Virginia Beach school spokesperson Eileen Cox says administrators hope students learn from this serious crime and report anything suspicious, saying, quote, "If you see something, say something." In the meantime, we're trying to figure out what exact materials were found in the student's locker, and we'll be sure to update you once we know. Reporting in Virginia Beach, I'm Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.
Minutes ago, court wrapped up for the day in the trial over the murder of a 1-year-old little boy in Portsmouth. 20-year-old Jerry Atkinson Jr. is one of 3 men accused in the death of Dion Lofton Jr. Police say the toddler was shot after the suspects tried to rob the little boy's mother. Reporter Erin LeBeau has been in court all day. She joins us live with an update.
Yeah, Regina, the first day of today's trial actually wrapped up with Nikita Hayes, the mother of 18-month-old Dion Lofton Jr. at that time, taking the stand. She was cross-examined about what exactly took place that night of June 27th back in 2015. Now, as you can imagine, this was a very emotional testimony. There were moments when she was on the stand just kind of breaking down, especially when they entered into evidence a towel, the actual towel she says that she used to wrap around her son's head after he was shot in the cheek and had an exit wound in the back of his head. Now 20-year-old Jerry Atkinson Jr. is represented by private attorney Andrew Sachs. Now, he faces several charges from that night, including first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding. Like we said, these charges stem back to that night of June 27, 2015. Now, authorities say Atkinson was one of 3 men who busted into a home on Maple Avenue in the Prentice Park neighborhood of Portsmouth. Now, the Commonwealth's attorney says this was to commit a robbery, but Sachs says and argues that his client, Jerry Atkinson Jr., was going to the home with those other 2 only to buy marijuana and wasn't aware that a crime was actually going to be committed. Now, during this whole ordeal, sadly, 1-year-old Dion Lofton Jr. was shot and later died at the hospital. And today we heard the opening arguments that really just laid out to the jury what both sides, the prosecution and defendant, are expecting during this trial.
Is that this defendant actively participated in a plan to rob the residents of 1507 Maple Avenue on June 27, 2015 with the use of guns.
Testimony from them will be confusing about Jerry Atkinson. It will be contradictory. And in some respects, you will hear it will be the result of very suggestive identification procedures and techniques that they were subjected to by police.
Now, this trial is expected to last for the next 2 to 3 days. They will resume again tomorrow at 9 a.m., where there will be more testimony from both witnesses, from the Commonwealth's attorney's side as well as the defendant. Reporting live in Portsmouth, I'm Erin LeBeau, 13 News Now.
Now, 2 other men are charged in connection with the toddler's murder. Anthony Hawley and Marquise Hinton have already pleaded guilty to felony charges. Both are expected to testify against Atkinson. We will stay on top of this trial and let you know when a verdict is reached.
Right now, the Virginia Beach City Council is getting ready to vote on the budget for next year, and some people are not happy about how that budget addresses flooding issues. Those people held a protest outside of City Hall. Reporter Jacqueline Lee joins us live to explain what changes the protesters are demanding.
Well, David, they are demanding one thing, and that is change. Dozens of protesters were standing right here because they said they're tired of their neighborhoods flooding over in Virginia Beach. They all just went inside because the city council meeting just started. Now, when they were out here during their peaceful demonstration, they were equipped with signs and they were chanting. They said they feel that city council is not putting their safety first, and they're tired of dealing with flooding. They took turns on a podium sharing their stories about the times that they've had to go through water waist deep after something as simple as rain coming down. They said they're tired of it. So I spoke with one woman who is from the Princess Anne Plaza area. She said that she's been dealing with flooding for far too long.
It floods every single time we have a downpour, it floods. And what I found out is in those 50 years, there have been 11 mayors and 68 city council members in 50 years that have done nothing about it.
And City Council will be voting tonight on how to best address the stormwater flooding issues. Stay with us at 11 and we'll tell you what happens. Live in Virginia Beach, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.
All right, here are some highlights from the proposed Virginia Beach city budget. It includes a 1-cent real estate tax increase to pay for full-day kindergarten expansion. Under the plan, it would take 5 years to offer full-day kindergarten in every elementary school. For public safety, the budget calls for adding 10 police officers, creating a 5th battalion, and hiring 6 more paramedics. Again, the vote is tonight.
New at 6, a school bus hits a cyclist in Norfolk. The crash happened on Tidewater Drive and Bayview Boulevard. A school spokesperson says 4 students from Maury High School were on the bus. They were not hurt. The cyclist was taken to a hospital. According to the school spokesperson, police determined that the cyclist was at fault here.
Cell phone camera pointed at a urinal and recording. That's what a boy